Jefferson County General Assembly, jeffersoncountygenerallassembly.org. And I'm going to try to keep this video within the basic 15-minute format. I've been trying to do that with all of my videos so that it just makes things easier. This is going to be about the Child Protective Services. And when the Child Protective Services comes and steals your children, when they steal your private property, because your children are private property. Now, I'm going to have to clarify this. Dealing with Child Protective Services, and I'm going to be reading this from my website. Dealing with Child Protective Services is no different than dealing with any federal corporation. It's still a part of that corporation. It's like mini corporations inside the corporation. So if a man or woman is born on a state and you know that you're sovereign, then so be it. But I have to preface this. If you are a black person, a black man, a woman, or you are a naturalized citizen who came from a different country, then you have civil rights. And those civil rights were granted through the 14th Amendment. And that being said, you are not sovereign, but you are a citizen of the United States, or you are a U.S. citizen and a federal employee. Now, the difference being a federal employee is not sovereign. A sovereign man is someone who is born on the soil of a nation, and in this case, a nation would be one of the states of Kansas or Missouri or Pennsylvania, New York, Maine, whatever that state might be. You were born on that soil. Now, I'm hoping that you have looked at other things on my website and that you've done your paperwork and that you've gotten your paperwork in place and you've done your deeds and you recorded your deeds to the soil of your home state and at the land jurisdiction. Those things do not absolutely have to be done. You can make your claim without that paperwork, but making that claim with the paperwork is easier if you have an authenticated birth certificate and so on. But I need to move on quickly because this will take time. A sovereign man makes a claim in court, and that sovereign man, what you're doing is you're going into court to get your children back. But a word to the wise, you cannot use the words children, U.S. citizen, resident. You are a federal employee when you use those words. So you must understand that a living man is someone who is at the political jurisdiction of the land, and a federal employee is someone who's considered to be lost at sea. Now, when you're lost at sea, you cannot go into the American common law courts and make a claim. You would end up having to use an attorney and make a complaint. Sadly, this needs to be changed for all black men. For a naturalized person, you don't have a choice because you came from a different country. Nonetheless, I, for example, am a man domiciled on the soil of Pennsylvania at the land jurisdiction. So what happens in court? What happens is you're going against a corporation, and the corporation is dead. According to Penhollow versus Jones Administrators, I've said this on other videos, that the corporation, the federal government, is dead. And because the federal government is dead, and you are alive, you are in two different jurisdictions. They are at the jurisdiction of the sea. You are at the jurisdiction of the land. So what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up making out something called a habeas corpus. And what a habeas corpus is, it means to bring forth the body. So you're telling the people at sea to bring forth the body, okay? Which is to say, the dead man, which they don't have. All right. But you're demanding that they bring it forth. And when they cannot produce that dead corpse, then their jurisdiction fails. All right. So the simple fact is you're doing business here. They're doing business as usual within their corporation. So what you're going to do is file paperwork that pulls them away from that corporation into your jurisdiction on the land, all right, which they're not allowed to be in. So what you're going to do is literally pull what is your private property out of their jurisdiction, all right, because you cannot use, remember, you cannot use their words. You cannot call your private property children or a child. You cannot use those words in court. You have to use the word offspring. And I'm going to show you this, or I'm going to tell you about it, in that your private property is your offspring. Never call them children, okay? It's your private property. So I'm going to read down through this. I wrote this up real quick. So you're going into court. You're going to file this paperwork into court. You're going to, I had showed this earlier on a different video where you, on your paperwork, the front of the paperwork is just going to say, your name, a line versus whoever you're going up against, the child welfare, or it's going to be something like the county of Jefferson, or Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, whatever it is. But that's a corporation. So you're just putting your name, a line, and their name. Okay. Then under it, you can write interfering with my private property. All right. Simple. You can put a box up in the corner, put your name versus their name. Something simple. Turn it over, and this is sort of what you're going to write. It's going to be, I am a living man or woman at American common law. I am claiming the writ of habeas corpus to institute and maintain actions of any kind in the courts of this state, Pennsylvania, while maintaining true domicile on the land of these United States. This habeas corpus is that you are now required to return my private property. You are demanded to produce Exhibit A, Johnny Ray, age 13. Exhibit B, Susie Jean, age 10. Exhibit C, Mary Ann, age 6. Immediately for return to I, their rightful owner, holder in due course and priority creditor. For each day hereafter you are being charged $1,000 a day for use of each exhibit until they are returned. So this is all on the website, okay, Jefferson County General Assembly.org. Go there and read this. What I'm actually doing with this, and this isn't legal advice. I can't give legal advice. I'm not an attorney. That would be fraud. This is friendly advice, all right, for counsel, like under the Fifth Amendment. We're allowed to have counsel, all right? So what's going on is you have to make your claim as a man at common law, bringing forth a habeas corpus, all right? And you're saying, bring forth the bodies, all right, which is your private property. Not one time in here did I say child or children, okay? Not one time did I make any reference to anything that they do in their court. I'm saying this is a habeas corpus, and you must bring forth my property now, which is Exhibit A, right? Johnny, Exhibit B, Susie, Exhibit C, Mary, because this is my private property. And you're doing that in a common law venue, which is outside of their jurisdiction. So they have no choice. Now, from what I have listened to on other places online, and I haven't done this myself, I've just listened to other people talking about it, and it works. And it works because it's proper. And it took them 10 days. Usually it'll take 10 days to 2 weeks because they have to loosen up everything and go through their channels and bring the children back, which are your children, but your property. They have to bring the property back. Okay, so what happened with these other folks when I listened to them was they actually went into court. They had to go into court, and the judge tried to change their paperwork. Oh, let's just change this word, and let's just change that word, and what they did is they allowed the judge to change the paperwork, and then the next day when they went in for actual court, they said, no, we don't like any of those changes. Well, I found it to be easier just to not change it at all to begin with. So do not let them change this paperwork. Make them, stick to your guns. And then by doing that, what's happening is they they have to bow. They have no choice. Now remember, you are not a U.S. citizen. You are not a federal employee. You are not a resident of any state. You are a man, and only a man. So anything that they say or do, I'm a man. I'm a woman. I'm a man. Okay, I'm just a man because they cannot deal with a living man. They're not allowed to touch a living man, and that's the whole point behind this. You are a living man making your claim, and they are a dead entity, and they cannot lawfully, they cannot even answer you, cannot even talk to you. I mean, unless you give them permission to say something, they're not even allowed to talk to you because they are dead. And you could even bring that up, how does a dead man talk to a living man? And they're going to there's nothing they can do. Okay. So go to my website and read down through this. It's about 3 pages long, and it gives a fairly decent explanation of what's going on. And I do make mention in here of Carl Lentz. Now, it just says if you want more information on these kinds of things, Carl Lentz was one of the fellows I was listening to online a few years ago talking about this. And it just grieves me when I hear people talking about their children being taken whenever I know that the Child Protective Service doesn't have any authority to do that. So go to the website, jeffersoncountyjuralassembly.org. Read this particular thing. It's Child Protective Services. You'll find it under the Jefferson County Jural Assembly up in the corner. And man, I hope you have a wonderful day.